way, this is Joel and
Paul.
From moving to Mexi.co, bienvenidos a nuestro canal, and bienvenidos to the middle of Guanajuato.
Yeah.
The estado de Guanajuato, the state of Guanajuato. And today we are going to answer the questions, or I guess answer the general question, what are the do's and don'ts of driving in Mexico when you're traveling by car?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode, and thanks to Kevin Eros for donating $10 to the cause.
Yes, he left us a super chat, so now we are making a video for him.
Yeah. So if you want to kind of like sponsor an idea, send us a super chat.
Yeah.
At least $10
for sure,
and then we'll take it under consideration.
And plus, it was really convenient because we were driving already.
We were good. Yeah. Anyways, it's one of those things where people are like, "Oh, is it dangerous to drive in Mexico? What do I do? Should I drive?" And when we're gonna get back in the car here, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we're on our way to the city of Guanajuato, and we're coming from San Miguel de Allende, but we started all the way in Mexico City. So we're gonna kind of review that whole trip and the do's and don'ts of traveling around by car in Mexico.
All right,
good?
Let's do it.
Vámonos. Oh, one last thing, I forgot. What day is it today, Paul?
Taco Tuesday.
Let's go. I guess this kind of goes for all of Mexico, but this is focusing around, why choose Europe, this is focusing on why choose Mexico over Europe for your next summer vacation. And so if you did that, you'd start your trip in Mexico City because it makes the most sense. It's the principal airport, which you can get to from almost anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a great city to just start things off. So
it's a beautiful city.
Yeah. So number one, a travel hack or travel tip would be to arrive on a Sunday. Because you're going to be arriving into the city when it's a little more tranquilo.
Yeah.
And so you kind of use that same thought process for when you're going to be picking up your car. So arrive on a Sunday, and if you're going to be in Mexico City, which you should be, at least for 5 days, if not a full week, to get the full flavor of the city.
Yeah, it's a huge city, right?
Yeah, don't rent a car.
Yeah, don't rent a car.
Just take an Uber or a taxi. We use Black Lane. I thought it was kind of good.
Yeah.
You pay a little extra for that, but the guy actually meets you at the airport with a sign, and it's a little more personal. So leave the rental car at the airport. Don't bother wasting the money on it. Go do your trip in Mexico City.
And so one thing about this driving from San Miguel to Guanajuato is that it's basically a 2-lane highway, right?
2-lane highway. There's no shoulder.
Yeah.
It's pretty narrow, but it's in good shape.
Yeah.
So just be very cautious of oncoming traffic and the Mexican passing game.
Right.
Because people will pass here without much thought as to what the risk is on that pass sometimes. I don't think it's very well calculated.
A lot of time it is not.
No, it's just kind of like, I kind of want to pass this guy, so they just pass you.
And a lot of times they'll count on the oncoming traffic to slow down.
To slow down or kind of get out of the way. So
which is crazy.
Just be vigilant.
So yeah, that is the cool thing about doing a road trip in Mexico is that the country itself is just beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's one of the most, if not the most, eco-diverse country in the entire world.
Yeah.
And Jillian and I and the kids have done 17 one-way trips from Bucerius all the way to Canada and back. So 17 one-ways. And I always recommend it to people because take your time, right? Stop in a few towns along the way. But that brings me to one of the other don'ts is, don't travel at night, right?
Yeah.
Do travel at the day.
Oh, look, there's a guy passing.
There's a Mexican passing him.
Not too bad.
Not so bad.
Quite a bit of space there.
Let's see what this motorcycle does.
Yeah.
He's going to stay.
He's catching up. Sorry, you were saying?
So don't travel at night. Do travel during the day. A couple reasons, right? Like these roads are narrow, they're windy, and it's very dark in Mexico. I don't know what it is, but it's really dark at night. And then there's speed bumps, which are the dreaded topes. It's just kind of a recipe for disaster if you're driving at night. A cow could come onto the road, you could hit a speed bump, and if there was some element of crime out there, waiting for you, it's probably going to be in the night. So
Right.
drive during the day, and secondary roads during the day are fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to like always stay on the toll roads.
Right.
But if you want like the absolute safest approach is, stick to
Toll
the
roads.
toll roads and the main secondary highways.
Right. And that's what we're on right now, right?
Yeah,
A
it's
main
like
secondary
it's a
highway.
main secondary highway. It's connecting San Miguel and Guanajuato.
Because there is not a toll road going between these two.
There is, but it's kind of a roundabout way and it's longer.
Oh, okay.
So you would have like, let's call it a smoother drive,
Mhm.
but it was about an extra half an hour of time.
Oh, okay.
And then this is
This is a piece of
beautiful.
cake, and it's beautiful.
So if you are also into cycling, consider making that part of your vacation. What I suggest, I mean, if you're in Puerto Vallarta, obviously contact us at BC Bucerias. But also the Velo Guide app, which is a company we started years ago, allows you to connect with a bike and a guide. And you can actually reach out to Jillian at BC Bucerias and she'll help you with that as well. We'd be happy to get you on a bike ride anywhere in Mexico because it's one of the most beautiful countries to ride a bike.
It's a great way to see it.
Yeah, that's a great way to see it. And we saw a bunch of cyclists this morning.
Yeah. And then Daniela had a good point, right?
So I was mentioning that you always have to bring your little bag with toilet paper, maybe wipes, hand sanitizer, and like cleaning supplies, because here in Mexico our rest stops are not like that great, and it's always good to bring with you like your own supplies. And you find restaurants that are not very clean, let's say,
Yeah.
but then you are on a road, so you have the need, right? And then
Yeah.
also I would say bring all your snack supplies also from where you're living, like from the town that you're getting out, because on the road these little stores also are like double price at least, and some stores are packed, some are not even stocked, so you don't really find many things on the like snack point of view. So it's better to pack all your things before you leave.
Another
Okay.
do travel with a full tank of gas
Yeah.
because you never know.
Right.
Right? There's been some times on our trips where I've kind of like pushed it because I knew where the gas stations were going to be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that gas station is no longer there. Like
Right.
it's shut down and you're like, oh
a
my
ghost
God.
town.
And especially in the middle of in the northern part of Mexico, you know how that
Right.
one is, right?
And yes, that one scares me.
Yeah, because you want to always have a full tank of gas. Like don't push it to, the quarter tank.
Yeah.
Right?
It's almost like when you're traveling through that long road, like in, I don't know, you're in the Sonora Desert or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like it's just like you can see for miles and miles the road just keeps going, and your tank gets all the way down to like a quarter tank,
Yeah.
and then there's the gas station.
And
They it's like it's set up so that you're gonna get freaked out because there's no gas stations forever. Then finally there is.
you come across one.
But you want that full tank going into it.
Always
or
be
you-
safe.
Yeah,
Safer than sorry on the tank of gas.
for sure. Don't let people into your car, right?
Yeah, I would not pick up hitchhikers in Mexico.
Right.
You just, stay in your lane, man. You know what I mean? Like, we had someone who tried to bum a ride from us just earlier.
Yeah.
And it was just a lady and her kid. And I'm sure it would have been completely fine. But I really just didn't want the responsibility for them.
Yeah.
Like from an insurance standpoint and everything else.
Sure.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah, who
I'm
knows,
just
right?
I'm just staying in my lane on that one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, stay in your lane. Like, don't. You have to drive a little bit aggressive in Mexico, but that's more like the city driving.
Yeah.
When you're on the highway, just
Play it safe.
play it safe and chill. If there's no real reason to pass, don't take that opportunity
Right.
to pass, because you know what, you just want to get to where you're going to get.
Right.
Right. Here's another pro travel tip for the people who are considering driving to Mexico right now from Canada to the States. And I've been seeing a lot more comments about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving Calgary and I'm heading, which border should I cross? I always liked crossing in Nogales, like the Arizona border. I've done Tijuana. We've done the Laredo border, which is from Texas. But coming into Mexico towards Bucerias, I always like the Nogales border. So that's coming from Arizona. Now the pro travel tip I want to give you is we would always stay close to the border the night before. like
Right.
on a Saturday.
Right.
And we would just get a hotel, or in the case when we were RV, we would just like stay in an RV park that was within spitting distance of the border. We would get up early at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
and we would just cross first thing in the morning to give us like maximum daylight hours on that first day crossing into Mexico.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to do it, because from my experience, just feeling the vibe around the border, it's not good. And so you just want to get through there and get away from it as far as possible on that first day,
On
right?
the first, especially if it's your first time, right? Because you're nervous already. It's your first time driving into Mexico. You've heard these stories. And honestly, when we did it too, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I driving my family into Mexico in an RV that just says, look at us?
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And then once we got through, it's like, we were like, okay, well, this is cool.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, we had 2 blowouts of tires in the Sonora Desert, and we had nothing but kindness and help.
Right.
So, that was the other thing I think, pleasantly surprised when we first moved to Mexico and on that first trip, how nice people were. Because I was just like everyone else. Like, I watched freaking Netflix and CNN and CBT. What is it? CTV? I can't remember. Been out of Canada so long. CBC.
Yeah.
And you just kind of hear these horror stories, and you just already come in tainted, right? So, just for your first trip, cross
And
that
what's
border.
that first city? Let's say somebody is coming through Nogales.
Yeah.
What's that point that they should try to get to, that checkpoint for? Because you're not going to drive if you're going to Vallarta. You're not going to drive all the way through Mexico in one shot, right?
We have gone as far as Mazatlan in the one shot.
Yeah.
But that's like crossing the border first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And just like going
14-hour drive.
Yeah. And then I think which one?
Hermosillo.
Hermosillo is normally where we would stay.
Yeah, that's where I would get to Hermosillo.
Yeah.
Then the second day would be Mazatlan, and then Mazatlan to Bucerias.
And then have a nice leisurely drive.
Yeah.
And we used to do that actually quite a bit. So Hermosillo, then we would get to Mazatlan, and we would like spend the night there, go out for a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And wake up early in the morning and get to Bucerias.
Right.
Traveling through Mexico, it's not uncommon to come across a checkpoint, and usually it's like a military checkpoint, and these guys are loaded for bear. Everyone has their AR-15, they're in full military kit, and they stop you. So number one, don't be nervous, because there's nothing to be nervous about. They're there to like kind of look out for you, like they're there protecting you.
Right.
And all they want to do is probably ask you a couple questions. Where are you from? Where are you going? What do you got in the car?
Yeah.
And usually I just smile. I'm like, ¿Cómo estás? Todo bien? Blah, blah, blah. Just be nice, right?
Right.
If they ever called you out of the car, I would get out of the car, shake their hand.
Right.
Always. Extend the hand. They're going to shake their hand. You smile. They're going to ask you the questions. You're going to be on your way.
Right.
And we've got stopped in our RV all the time. But they were always excited to see what was inside our RV, and they would always
wanted to check it out.
Oh my God, like there's like a washroom, you guys got a kitchen, this is like awesome.
2 children.
2 kids. And I'm like, yeah, and I got a bunch of beer in the fridge.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay,
right.
find your way.
Yeah.
Right?
I did have one time, I forget what town I was crossing through, but I think I took a turn like off of the main toll roads, and the cops stopped me, and it was not the federales, it was the local police.
Local police, yeah.
And they just tore my truck apart.
Right.
Like they just undid the carpet, the lining, the plastic, everything. But then they put everything back together. It was just annoying that I had to, sit there for an extra half an hour while they did that. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I was just mentioning that if by any chance you end up not wanting to drive to another place, another state, you can always take the bus. There is a lot of bus stations, in Bucerias and everywhere else. So they're always safe. They're mostly comfortable. It's like easy because you just sleep on the way, and they're pricing is pretty good. So that's another good option to just visit other places. You don't have to worry about driving, worry about whatever you're gonna worry about, and you just like go place to place, visit, take an Uber once you're in the city, visit, and then come back home in a bus too. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like a good option too.
It's a great option.
That's a very good point. And I think when the freeway is done, connecting Guadalajara and Bucerías,
Yeah.
it's going to be an awesome bus to take to Guadalajara.
Yeah,
Because you'll probably be there in 3 hours.
Right.
You know, when it's all said and done.
for sure.
And there would be no real reason to drive it.
Yeah,
You know, if you could do a bus in 3 hours, get to the center of Guadalajara, hop in your Uber or taxi and go to wherever you're staying.
for sure.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think we could have did it on this trip. We did consider the bus, but we were on a pretty tight time
Yeah,
schedule.
to try to factor in the bus.
It would have been too much.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
If we were, let's say, 3 or 4 days in San Miguel de Allende, 3 or 4 days here in Guanajuato, 3 or 4 days in Querétaro,
Yeah.
I think the bus would have been a more
That would have been
viable
great.
option. Yeah.
And the buses here in Mexico,
They're good.
they're not like your school bus
No.
buses, right? Like they're actually like luxury. Some of them are higher end than others,
Yeah.
but like you have the seats recline, like you're basically laying down, and then you're also they put movies on,
Yeah.
so you just have like it's a luxury experience a lot of times.
So we're in a little town. There's always going to be
Somewhere between Guanajuato and San Miguel.
Yeah, there's
They-
probably
they-
topes and a delivery truck and a beer truck and oh yeah, there's a semi up ahead.
Yeah.
He's trying to turn.
De harina, por favor. ¿Y queso para quesadilla? Which one you guys want?
¿Qué sabores?
Chile, agua, tomate, sal, especias. I don't know, looks good.
I did get a couple of them. Or just one, because we're not going to be here long much, huh?
This one?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Okay, esta, listo.
Well, it's Taco Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah.
But we ended up doing this video shoot at Behind the Mexican Door, and they ran out of birria.
That's right.
So we went to the local mini mart, and we got some tortillas. We got some queso, and I saw frijoles in our apartment. So we're making our own tacos,
That's
or
right.
quesadillas.
Wait, how do you say that?
Quesadilla. Eat
Is
your
that-
gall darn quesadilla.
Is that correct, Daniela?
I mean,
No, what is it? What is it?
this point
Napoleon Dynamite?
I don't care at this point.
You know what? You
I
gotta
know
put
he's
in for
joking.
Napoleon Dynamite. Eat your gall darn quesadilla, Napoleon.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
That's good.
Yeah,
Something
good
like that?
impression.
Well, what's there to eat?
Get off, Napoleon. Make yourself a dang quesadilla.
Fine.
5-0.
40-40?
Hey, don't say that on camera.
You're not filming.
Yeah. I've been feeling all this conversation. The Napoleon Dynamite stuff is gold. All right, we're here. All right, who's gonna cook?
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, for another Taco Tuesday here in Guanajuato. And we've made our own tacos. I don't know what I've made. I made a quesadilla and I threw some guacamole on it.
Yeah.
And some of this homemade salsa that we bought from the tienda. And we did all this for under 200 pesos. So under $10. We got some fruit, we got some limes, we got these salsas, we got some of these chiles, got a couple avocados, and some tortillas. I mean, what else? Oh, and some pops and some waters.
Yeah, and this episode was about driving in Mexico,
And driving in Mexico.
right?
Right, and hopefully we answered all your questions about the do's and don'ts of driving in Mexico. And you just gotta do it. You know?
Go for it.
Go for it. Well, I gotta dig in, right?
Yeah.
Gotta try my...
You're doing the outro while you're trying the taco.
Yeah, I know, it's like...
We're tired. Full disclosure, we're tired.
It's very good.
Yeah.
No, on that note, I gotta get to my tacos, so nos vemos hasta luego and adios desde Guanajuato, Guanajuato. Eat your gall darn quesadilla, Napoleon.